Listen up, everyone, because what I'm about to tell you is going to change everything you thought you knew about XRP and the entire cryptocurrency landscape. I've been tracking this story for weeks, following every single development, every regulatory filing, every behind-the-scenes move, and today, right now, everything is coming together in ways that are going to shock the entire financial world. If you're holding XRP, if you've been waiting for that moment when institutional money floods into our market, if you've been patient through years of legal battles and regulatory uncertainty, your patience is about to pay off in ways you never imagined. What's happening right now isn't just another pump and dump. This isn't just another crypto hype cycle. This is the beginning of the most significant financial transformation we've seen in decades. I'm talking about real money. I'm talking about the kind of institutional adoption that turns $1,000 investments into life-changing wealth. I'm talking about the moment when XRP stops being just another cryptocurrency and becomes the backbone of the global financial system. The news broke just hours ago, and most people haven't even realized what this means yet. While everyone else is sleeping on this opportunity, while the mainstream media is still focused on Bitcoin's price movements and Ethereum's technical upgrades, something massive is happening with XRP that's going to make early adopters incredibly wealthy. Rex Osprey just announced the first XRP spot ETF launching this week. Not next month, not next quarter, this week. And this isn't just any ETF. This is the gateway that's going to open the floodgates for institutional money to pour into XRP like we've never seen before. But here's what makes this even more explosive. This is happening at the exact same time that Ripple just committed $25 million to expand their reach into small businesses and veterans. $25 million that they could have used to buy back XRP. $25 million they could have kept in their treasury. But instead, they're investing in the future of the American economy. Do you understand what this means? This means Ripple isn't just playing defense anymore. They're not just fighting regulatory battles. They're going on the offensive. They're positioning themselves as the solution for the next generation of financial infrastructure. And when a company starts spending this kind of money on strategic initiatives, when they start making moves this bold, it means they know something the rest of us don't. Let me break down exactly what's happening here, because the implications are staggering. The Rex Osprey XRP ETF isn't just another financial product. It's delivering spot exposure to XRP, the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap, to institutional investors who have been waiting on the sidelines for years. Think about this for a second. Pension funds that manage trillions of dollars, insurance companies with massive portfolios, sovereign wealth funds from countries around the world. These institutions have been watching cryptocurrency markets explode, watching Bitcoin hit all-time highs, watching Ethereum transform entire industries, but they couldn't participate because they didn't have regulated compliant vehicles to invest through. That changes this week. When this ETF launches, it's not just retail investors like you and me who can buy XRP. It's every major financial institution in America. It's retirement funds. It's endowments. It's the kind of money that moves markets and creates generational wealth for early investors. But here's the part that's got me really excited. The part that's keeping me up at night thinking about the possibilities. This is just the beginning. This is the first XRP spot ETF. Industry insiders are telling me there are 10, maybe 15 more ETF applications in the pipeline. Some will be individual XRP funds, others will be cryptocurrency baskets that include XRP alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum. Imagine what happens to XRP's price when not just one, but 10 or 15 different ETFs are buying XRP every single day. Imagine the demand pressure. Imagine the supply shock. XRP's circulating supply is limited, and when institutional buying pressure hits, we're going to see price movements that make previous cryptocurrency bull runs look like warm-ups. And this is happening right now, while XRP is trading around $3. $3. When Bitcoin was at $3, people called it a bubble. When Ethereum was at $3, critics said it was overvalued. Now Bitcoin is approaching six figures, and Ethereum has created an entire ecosystem of decentralized finance. XRP at $3 isn't expensive. It's not overvalued. It's the opportunity of a lifetime staring us right in the face. But wait, there's more. While everyone's focused on the ETF news, there's something even bigger happening behind the scenes. CNBC just ran a segment about Ripple going after Swift, not competing with Swift, not offering an alternative to Swift, going after Swift. Do you understand how massive this is? Swift processes over $5 billion in transactions every single day. It's the backbone of international banking. It's how money moves between countries, between banks, between institutions. And it's slow, expensive, and built on technology from the 1970s. Ripple's technology can process transactions in seconds instead of days. It can move money for pennies instead of dollars. It can operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, instead of traditional banking hours. And now, with regulatory clarity finally coming to the United States, with institutional adoption accelerating through ETFs, Ripple is positioning itself to replace SWIFT as the global standard for international payments. When that happens, not if, when, XRP becomes the reserve currency for international settlements. Every bank, every financial institution, every government that wants to participate in global trade will need to hold XRP. The demand will be unlike anything we've ever seen in cryptocurrency markets. Venture capital experts are already talking about Bitcoin reaching $750,000 in the next 4 to 5 years. $750,000. And that's just Bitcoin, which is primarily a store of value. XRP has utility. XRP has adoption. XRP has institutional partnerships that Bitcoin can only dream of. If Bitcoin can reach $750,000 based purely on its status as digital gold, what happens to XRP when it becomes the backbone of global financial infrastructure? What happens when every international payment, every cross-border transaction, every settlement between banks runs on XRP? The mathematics are simple but staggering. XRP's current market cap is around $178 billion. Bitcoin's market cap is over $1 trillion. If XRP just reaches half of Bitcoin's current valuation, we're looking at XRP prices in the $15 to $20 range. But if XRP actually succeeds in replacing SWIFT, if it becomes the global standard for international payments, we're looking at market caps that dwarf even Bitcoin. I'm talking about XRP prices that make current holders millionaires. I'm talking about returns that create generational wealth. I'm talking about the kind of opportunity that comes along once in a lifetime. And here's what makes this even more compelling. We're not just speculating about future adoption. It's happening right now. The Rex Osprey ETF launching this week proves that institutional infrastructure is being built. Ripple's $25 million investment in small businesses and veterans proves they're thinking long-term, building sustainable growth, positioning themselves as partners with the American economy. Major investors, people who manage billions of dollars, are openly talking about Solana outperforming Ethereum, about cryptocurrency markets still being in their infancy, about digital assets representing less than 1% of global wealth. When these institutional investors talk about the future of finance, they're not talking about replacing cryptocurrency. they're talking about cryptocurrency replacing traditional finance. And XRP is at the center of that transformation. But here's what really excites me. What keeps me bullish even when markets are volatile, even when prices fluctuate day to day. The infrastructure is being built, the regulatory framework is being established, the institutional adoption is accelerating. And most retail investors still don't understand what's happening. While everyone else is chasing meme coins and speculating about the next viral cryptocurrency, smart money is accumulating XRP. While day traders are getting distracted by short-term price movements, institutional investors are building long-term positions in assets that will define the next decade of financial innovation. The Federal Reserve is preparing to cut interest rates, which historically drives money into risk assets like cryptocurrency. The same week that happens, the first XRP ETF launches. The same month, Ripple announces major strategic investments. The same quarter, regulatory clarity for cryptocurrency markets is expected to improve significantly. This isn't coincidence. This is coordination. This is what happens when an entire industry matures simultaneously, when regulatory uncertainty transforms into regulatory clarity, when institutional interest transforms into institutional investment. I've been following cryptocurrency markets for years, and I've never seen setup like this. I've never seen fundamental developments, regulatory progress, and institutional adoption align so perfectly for a single asset. The stars are literally aligning for XRP in ways that create once-in-a-decade investment opportunities. The price action we're seeing right now, the consolidation around $3, the hesitation from retail investors. That's not weakness. That's accumulation. That's smart money building positions before the general public realizes what's happening. That's the calm before the storm. When institutional money starts flowing through ETFs, when banks start adopting Ripple's technology for international payments, when governments start recognizing XRP as legitimate financial infrastructure, the price discovery process is going to be explosive. We're not just talking about gradual appreciation. We're talking about step function increases in value as new categories of investors enter the market. And here's the most important part. We're still early. The ETF launches this week, but most people don't even know it's happening. Ripple's strategic investments are being announced, but most investors are distracted by other news. The institutional infrastructure is being built, but most retail investors are still waiting for clearer signals. By the time those signals are obvious to everyone, by the time mainstream financial media is covering XRP's institutional adoption, by the time your friends and family are asking how to buy cryptocurrency, the easy money will already be made. The life-changing returns will already be captured by people who recognize the opportunity early. That's why I'm so excited about what's happening right now. That's why I'm talking about this opportunity while it's still an opportunity, while XRP is still trading at levels that will seem impossibly cheap in 12 to 18 months. The cryptocurrency market is cyclical, but this cycle is different. Previous bull runs were driven by retail speculation, by individual investors chasing quick profits, by social media hype and fear of missing out. This cycle is being driven by institutional adoption, by regulatory clarity, by fundamental utility and real-world value creation. XRP isn't just riding a speculative wave. It's solving real problems for real institutions with real money. It's becoming essential infrastructure for the global financial system. And when an asset transitions from speculative investment to essential infrastructure, the value creation is permanent, sustainable, and transformational. The $25 million Ripple just committed to small businesses and veterans isn't just corporate social responsibility. It's strategic positioning. It's building relationships with the American economy. It's demonstrating that Ripple isn't just a technology company or a cryptocurrency project. It's a partner in economic growth and financial innovation. When the history books are written about the transformation of global finance, about how cryptocurrency evolved from speculative experiment to essential infrastructure, Ripple and XRP will be central characters in that story. And the investors who recognize that transformation early, who positioned themselves before institutional adoption accelerated, will be the ones who captured life-changing returns. The Federal Open Market Committee meets this week. Interest rate cuts are expected. The Rex Osprey XRP ETF launches this week. Institutional access to XRP becomes reality. Ripple announces strategic investments this week. Long-term positioning becomes clear. This isn't just another week in cryptocurrency markets. This is the week when everything changes. This is the week when institutional infrastructure meets regulatory clarity, meets strategic positioning, meets market opportunity. I've been waiting for this setup for years. I've been accumulating XRP through legal battles and regulatory uncertainty and market volatility because I knew this moment would come. I knew that eventually the utility would be recognized, the partnerships would matter, the technology would be adopted. That moment is now. XRP at $3 isn't just undervalued relative to its potential. It's undervalued relative to what's happening this week. The infrastructure being built, the institutions getting involved, the strategic positioning being executed, all of that creates value that isn't reflected in current prices. But markets are forward-looking. When institutional investors start buying through ETFs, when banks start announcing Ripple partnerships, when governments start recognizing XRP's role in financial infrastructure, the price discovery process will be rapid and dramatic. The venture capital experts predicting Bitcoin at $750,000 aren't just making wild guesses. They're extrapolating from adoption curves, from institutional interest, from the mathematics of limited supply meeting unlimited demand. And those same dynamics apply to XRP, except XRP has utility that Bitcoin lacks, partnerships that Bitcoin can't access, and regulatory clarity that Bitcoin is still pursuing. When major investors talk about Solana potentially outperforming Ethereum, about cryptocurrency markets representing less than 1% of global wealth, about digital assets being the future of finance, they're describing a world where XRP isn't just successful, it's essential. And we're at the very beginning of that transformation. The next few months are going to be unlike anything we've seen in cryptocurrency markets. Not because of speculation or hype or social media trends, but because of fundamental value creation, institutional adoption, and real-world utility finally being recognized and monetized. XRP holders who have been patient through years of uncertainty are about to be rewarded. Investors who recognized the opportunity before institutional infrastructure was complete are about to see returns that justify their conviction. People who understood that regulatory battles were temporary, but technological innovation was permanent, are about to be proven right. This is bigger than just an ETF launch. This is bigger than just interest rate cuts. This is bigger than just strategic investments. This is the moment when XRP transitions from cryptocurrency project to financial infrastructure, from speculative asset to essential technology, from investment opportunity to life-changing wealth creation. The setup is perfect. The timing is ideal. The opportunity is unprecedented. And most people still don't realize what's happening. That's exactly where we want to be. Positioned ahead of institutional adoption, ahead of mainstream recognition, ahead of the moment when XRP's true value becomes obvious to everyone. The official launch news isn't just about one ETF or one investment or one announcement. It's about the convergence of years of development, months of preparation, and weeks of execution, creating a moment of opportunity that defines the next decade of wealth creation in digital assets. This is our moment. This is when patience pays off, when conviction is rewarded, when early positioning creates generational wealth. The future of finance is being built right now, and XRP is at the center of that construction. The only question is whether you'll be watching from the sidelines or participating in the transformation. The choice is yours, but the window of opportunity won't stay open forever. When institutional money starts flowing, when regulatory clarity is complete, when mainstream adoption accelerates, the easy returns will be captured by people who positioned themselves early. That opportunity is right now. That moment is this week. That chance to be part of financial history is happening whether you participate or not. But for those who recognize the opportunity, for those who understand what institutional adoption means, for those who realize that XRP at $3 represents the opportunity of a lifetime, the next few months are going to be extraordinary. The official launch is just the beginning. The real story is what happens next, when institutional infrastructure meets unlimited demand, meets limited supply, meets revolutionary technology. And that story starts now.